Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about number 225, Barry Lyndon, which is an adventure drama history film from 1975. This has an 8.1 on 126,850 votes. It's gone up since I did my notes yesterday.
Oh, okay. Some people started voting for it.
Yeah. The spoiler-free synopsis. Acclaimed adaptation of William Makepeace Thackeray's novel in which a likely young Irishman changes into a conniving, manipulative rogue. The protagonist finds himself homeless after taking part in a fake duel and is then captured by a Prussian highwayman and meets up with a spy. But his fortunes change when he marries a wealthy, titled woman in order to secure his future.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, you're telling me!
That's what it sounded like. It's like, okay. Alright, so this is directed by Stanley Kubrick. He's done films like 2001, A Space Odyssey, which is number 91 on our list. A Clockwork Orange, which is 84 on our list, and The Shining, which is number 60 on our list.
So this is his lowest movie on our
list. This is his lowest one. So our actors, we have Ryan O'Neal, who was also in Paper Moon, which we just did. Yep, Marissa Berenson, and Patrick McGee.
McGee. Alright, so Rotten Tomatoes has an average rating of 8.1. 94% of critics liked it. 64 critical reviews. 60 fresh and 4 rotten. Tom Huddleston. The great director's least satisfying, most disconcerting film, and that's what makes it extraordinary. That sounds like it would have been bad until the very last word.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. It's kind of a mixed one, but
yeah.
Alright.
Jim Ridley, Stanley Kubrick's magistral Thackeray adaptation, now stands as one of his greatest and most savagely ironic films, not to mention one of the few period pieces on celluloid so transporting that it seems to predate the invention of cameras. They're trying to drive me crazy with this shit today.
Lots of words.
2 rotten. Dan Jardine. The movie's charms are limited to its technical and visual virtuosity and droll voiceover narration.
Yeah.
Michael Wood. It just hangs there on the screen for 3 hours. A monument to Kubrick's patience and pedantry and rather laborious good taste, but signifying very little else. I will agree.
I have to agree with that one, actually.
On the screen for 3 hours with no entertainment value at all.
Yeah. I have to agree with Kat on this one.
I'm really glad that I watched this on Halloween and trick-or-treaters were coming, so I got a break every 2 seconds from watching it.
I didn't.
And then I actually did take a break in the middle because Sean got home and we watched Arrow in the middle of it. So I had lots of breaks from this movie.
Yeah, I didn't.
Alright. The critics' consensus: cynical, ironic, and suffused with seductive natural lighting, Barry Lyndon is a complex character piece of a hapless man doomed by Georgian society. Okay.
Again, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, we watched this movie, that explains why. The movie explains all of these words.
Yeah.
The budget for this movie was $11 million. In the U.S., it made $20 million. Internationally, it made $11.5 million. So worldwide, it made $31.5 million. And that's all the money.
It's not that great.
No. It did win 4 Oscars for Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction and Set Direction, Best Costume Design, and Best Music, Scoring, Original Song, Score, and or Adaptation. I will agree with the costumes. The costumes were good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a period piece, so you have to have good costumes for it. The BAFTA Awards won Best Cinematography and Best Direction. Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, Best DVD Collection. It's on a collection of Spartacus, Lolita, Doctor Strangelove, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut, and Stanley Kubrick, A Life in Pictures. And it's a part of the Stanley Kubrick Essential Collection. So I feel like that technically isn't for the movie.
It's for
all of those other ones.
It's for everything else, like, like Spartacus and The Shining and Clockwork Orange.
And Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
British Society of Cinematographers. It won a Best Cinematography Award. Cinema Writers Circle Awards in Spain. Best Foreign Film. David D. Donatello. Stanley Kubrick won an award for that. Guild of German Art House, Best Foreign Film. Los Angeles Film Critics Association, Best Cinematography. National Board of Review, Best Film, tied with Nashville from 1975, and Best Director, who also tied with Robert Altman, the director of Nashville, and it also is on the top 10 films. National Society of Film Critics Awards, Best Cinematography. St. Geordie Awards, Best Foreign Film. And that's it. No.
I don't even know what to say after that. I doubt. I got nothing there.
I don't know. So, what were your thoughts? We kind of already voiced them a little bit.
So, this, I was like, okay, I had my hopes up a bit since it's a Kubrick film, and he does pretty good films for the most part. But I was a bit disappointed. I was like, oh, okay, so this is a period piece, okay. I can handle those most of the time, but for 3 hours, no. No, I felt like it dragged on too long.
I feel like it was an hour and a half too long.
I was thinking that too, actually. I was like, this could have been reduced down to like hour and a half, 2 hours easily.
Yeah. This is very long. It's very dry. There were parts of it that I didn't understand. I'm really glad that I had distractions throughout this and had to keep pausing it. Because if I had just sat there for 3 hours watching it, then I wouldn't have been able to finish it.
I finished it. I actually sat there for 3 hours.
I wouldn't have been able to do that.
I'm a very patient woman.
My attention span is not that long on boring things.
This is not even as long as film either. Spartacus is longer.
But Spartacus is actually interesting.
That's very true. I do like Spartacus.
Alright.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
That was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening until you've watched it and come back here. So this is a 2-part movie.
It says part 1, the very, beginning.
Mm-hmm. And it's how he got his name. Which I don't think you actually learn how he got his name until the second part.
It's like
the very end of the first part you learn how he got his name.
It's like that was just a bad title thing, because technically you're right, it was the very beginning of the second part you learned that's how he got the Lyndon name from.
Yeah.
Oy.
Yeah. So there's 2 guys at the beginning and they're dueling, and the voiceover says that that's Barry's dad and some other guy, and that's how Barry's dad dies. Except for Barry is not his first name until the second half of the movie, I guess.
It's not like Barry's his last name, because his
Yeah.
first name is Redmond.
Yeah. I knew I had it written down somewhere, but it's in all of these notes that I can't decipher. So. His mom won't remarry.
Nope.
Then there's some people playing cards. And it's Barry and this woman who it's said to be his cousin.
His cousin. Yeah. I was like, this is really...
But see, to me, this makes sense because this isn't like the not medieval, but
It's
in like the
Baroque.
Yeah,
it's
it's
Baroque.
in like the 1800s. So to me, 1773. That's a date we get later, and that's in the second part. So this is like late 1700s. So to me, marrying your cousin makes sense. They do
Baroque
that a
period.
lot.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
I still think it's weird.
oh no, I think it's weird. I'm just saying it makes more sense than now.
I'm just saying this is why I won't go there.
She makes him turn around, and she takes off her little ribbon choker thingy
Yeah.
and stuffs it down in her boobs. And then,
yeah, she totally got the hots from him, and vice
Yeah.
versa.
and she tells him he needs to look for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I found Redmond Berry. Found it. It's
There
on
it
the
is.
side. Found it.
Yeah, and I'm like, that is that wasn't awkward.
No, this whole interaction with her was awkward.
Yes.
And he's like, I can't find it. And then she puts his hand up on her boobs, and he's like, I found it. And then they kiss.
yeah.
And then they're out at some field. It's like kind of like a little festival.
Yeah, they're watching like some militia marching around.
Yeah, and the narrator said that it builds morale among the people. Because those are British soldiers in Irish territory.
Yeah.
So they're trying to build morale towards the British soldiers because the Irish don't really like them that much. So,
I mean, it's Irish.
I mean, my husband is half British, and we have a friend who's Irish, and they fight about it all the time. They're like joke fighting, but it's still really funny.
That is funny, actually.
I just feel like it really pertains to this, so
It does.
I had to share that. And Nora keeps dancing with the captain. Nora is his cousin.
That's her name, yes.
She keeps dancing with the captain, and Barry is mad and says that you didn't have to dance with him so many times. She's like, well, if I wanted to dance with you, I can do that anytime, but I can't always dance with him.
It's like, yeah. I was like, Barry's jelly.
Yeah.
Super jelly.
And says he's gonna fight the captain next time he sees him. And then he leaves Nora alone in the woods. And then the next thing we see is Nora saying that she loves the captain.
Yeah, and they're talking, like, having, like, this nice intimate moment, and, like, Barry just, like, shows up being a dick about
Yeah,
everything.
and like returns her ribbon.
Yeah.
And then the captain gets all mad because like, you give your ribbon to everyone.
It's like, well, I can see why you're a little mad there.
And I wonder if the ribbon is like the equivalent of a promise ring now.
Hell, I don't know. Or
That's what it seems
Or
like.
she's just a flirt.
That's possible. That's possible.
That's what I got from it.
The captain gets all mad about it and he storms off. And his family, Barry and Nora's family, is mad because the captain is going to pay like $500 or 500 something or another. He's going to pay a certain amount and give the money to them because they're not very rich.
Yeah.
And the captain's at the dinner.
Yeah, there's a dinner party, and the captain and Nora sitting next to each other, and I know the captain, like, and Barry comes too. He's there. And the captain leans over to, I think, was it, like, Nora's dad or something?
Yeah.
And asks, I'm guessing, permission or
I think he's
blessing or
asking
something.
to announce it. Because at this point, I think he already has the blessing and the permission to marry her. He's asking to announce that he's marrying her.
It could be either one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he announces that, and Barry throws a glass in the captain's face.
The glass of wine. Both the glass and the wine. No,
Yeah.
not just the wine. Throws the freaking whole glass. It's like, oh,
Chucks
snap.
the whole thing at him. And so he's got like a little cut on his eyebrow. And so then Barry and the captain duel because Barry thinks that if he duels him and kills the captain that he can marry his cousin.
Okay.
And Barry is, like, very steady during this duel. Like, just, like, ready to shoot him. And the captain's all nervous. And I'm like, that should be the other way around.
Should be.
But I feel like the captain is nervous because a little bit later we find out that, and it said it in the synopsis too, because it's not that big of a spoiler, the captain actually lives through the duel, even though it looks like he died. So I think maybe he's more nervous that he has to fake being dead.
I think so.
Rather than duel.
Yeah, it's like, just this punk kid wants to duel me, alright.
Yeah. And so one of the guys that's there, because there's like 3 other guys there besides the captain and Barry. And one of them, they're all like related to Barry, I'm pretty sure. And one of them tells them that you have to go into hiding from the law. You have to go on the run.
Yeah.
Because you killed him. Except for he's not really dead.
Killed him, air quotes.
Yeah. So he sets off on his travels. And he stops and sees these 2 guys, and they're like sitting at a table, and they ask him some questions. And then he like goes off on his way.
Yeah, and then he gets cornered by them.
Yeah, because there's a tree that fell, and one of the guys is standing in front of it, and then the other guy like comes up behind him, and they take his money
and the horse,
but they let him keep his boots.
I'm like,
he
really?
has to walk.
I'm like, well, that's nice of you. Yeah, let him have his shoes. Okay.
So Barry, he starts walking.
And he goes to this town, and he hears these people, not like, what was it?
Recruiting.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, there's a recruiting desk and everything.
That's what I wrote down, too.
Yay.
That's why I was like, hey, that's probably what she's looking for.
I am, thank you. And so he joins up with well, I wrote UK because that's what it technically is.
Yeah, it is.
The
UK,
UK,
the British Army.
Yeah, I wrote militia, but that works too.
Yeah, I think at that point it is a militia, more rather than an army.
Yeah.
Because there is a difference. Yeah, it's not a very big difference, but there's a difference. And then there's a Mr. Tool. I think that's what it looks like.
That's the one he gets in a fight with.
Yeah, he throws a lot of punches, and so Barry asks, they're like eating, he's in the army now, and he's like being trained, and they're stopped for a meal, and he asks for a new cup because it's greasy, and Mr. Tool starts making fun of him. So then the guy that's sitting next to Barry tells him how to make fun of Mr. Tool.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you're afraid of the missus. It's like, oh, snap.
Yeah. And so they form a circle or something and fight. Mr. Tool and Barry fight. And Mr. Tool throws a lot of punches.
It's pretty much just like a rope-a-dope.
Yeah. It's like the fight between Pacquiao and Mayweather, that one that happened a few years ago. It's literally one of the only fights I've ever seen. Pacquiao like throws a whole bunch of punches, and Mayweather just kind of stands there and has like well-timed ones. That's basically what it was.
That usually works better.
Yeah, because then you're not tired.
Exactly.
Captain Brody's regiment, which I believe, if I remember correctly, Captain Brody is one of the men that was with Barry when he fought the other captain that was going to marry Nora.
It's not what I have.
Oh. Maybe it's a different guy.
I think his name was... I had to look it up in the cast list. I think his name was Grogan or something.
Oh, I thought his name was Brody. I wrote down Brody. Maybe I just heard it wrong.
It sounds like Logan, so that's what it reminded me of. I guess
it's possible. I don't know. I thought his name was Brody.
Here's the other room.
I mean, as long as we're talking about the same person, it's okay. But I called him Captain Brody.
That person that was with him. There we go. We're just gonna call it that.
So
this movie was long.
Yeah, it was Captain Grogan. I mean, that makes sense that I heard Brody out of that. To me, it makes sense, especially because I was that bored. With how they were talking, it makes sense.
It was hard to understand them sometimes. It really was.
But his regiment shows up with all of the rest of the people that Barry's with. So they all joined up together, and Barry asks him about Nora, and he says that she is married now. She's Nora Quinn, and that she married John Quinn, and Barry's like, what? Like, he's dead. How was that possible?
He's like, nah, we faked the whole thing. He's like, I got money out of it too.
Yeah, and Barry's upset about it. So they go to battle.
This is during the 7 Years' War too.
Yeah. Because they're teamed up with Prussia.
Yes, Prussian. Yeah.
So they're like marching, and they just keep marching while they're being shot at.
Yeah, I was like, aren't you going to fire back?
Right? Like,
just kept just going. What do you expect to happen?
Yeah.
You're not even shooting.
And then Brody gets killed. I'm just gonna call him Brody, because that's what I have it written down as in my notes.
The dude that he was with gets killed.
Yeah.
There we go.
And so Barry carries him into the woods and says goodbye.
With a kiss.
Yep, with a kiss.
Right on the lips.
Yeah. Because he says that if you don't kiss me, you can't find me. I'm guessing that means, like, later in life or something.
I have no idea.
Barry is fetching water?
Yeah, like, because they were... The less glamorous side of it is that they go, like, to get supplies. They pretty much just, like, loot farms as they go along.
Yeah.
That's what I know. Is because they're carrying away, like, sheep and, like, all these different animals. And
Yeah. And, so he's going to fetch the water after they've made camp. And, Barry comes across these two guys. And this is not very common in this time.
No.
Two guys together. But they're off in the lake talking to each other. One of them says that he's about to leave because he's got orders. So Barry steals his stuff.
totally steals his stuff. I'm like, they're talking. They're both... Okay, they were pretty much just skinny dipping.
Yeah.
They were. There was no clothes involved. They're
No.
talking. I did notice they seemed like lovers.
Yeah, that's what I read into as well. So Barry takes all his stuff and assumes his identity. And so that he can, because he's trying to desert.
He's just trying to get out of it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the army anymore. And he wants to be ahead of the news of his desertion, so he takes off right then and there.
He's traveling along.
Yeah. Oh, he comes across a woman,
Yes.
and she doesn't really speak much English. But she takes him back home because he asks her for food. And she invites him to stay a while because she thinks he's a soldier. And she says her husband's a soldier as well, and he's off fighting in the war. And then they sleep together.
I'm like, well, that's real faithful there.
I feel like that happened a lot. Because the men do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
But still.
It's not good for either party.
No. So then he leaves her. I'm guessing he was there for like maybe a month.
Yeah, not too long.
Not very long. So then he's off again, and he comes across some Prussian soldiers. And the captain stops and talks to him, or the general or whatever, whoever's in charge of this little group of men. And you can see it that they don't quite trust him. Like, why is this guy riding off by himself in the opposite direction that we're riding? Like, this is not good. So they ask him for his papers and all that. And then they take him, they're like, oh, you're going the wrong way if that's where you're heading. And so they go back to this little town. And they're like drinking. And the guy starts asking Barry some questions.
Yeah.
And he says something about a dead general. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to this general. And he's like, this general.
This one. He's like, it's like, you're a liar. He's been dead for like 10 months now.
Yeah. And he's like, oh really? And then he gets arrested.
Yeah, and so they kind of just force him into their army, the Prussian army, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the Prussian army. They said something, he either had to do that or he would get something else. He had a choice of his punishment. It was either be in the Prussian army or something else, and I don't quite remember what the other punishment was because I didn't write it down because he took the Prussian army.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But they beat him with swatches. Switches. So then they're in another battle. He's in another battle. And they're, like, fighting. Barry is in a building shooting out the little window. And
I don't think he's a very good shot either.
no, he's not. Because, like, literally every time he shoots, nobody falls over.
It's just, like... I mean, I know these weren't very accurate, guns, but still.
Yeah.
You can at least, try your best. I don't know. He's an awful person.
So then the building that they're in gets, like, hit with a cannonball or something.
Yeah.
And the man that arrested him, the general or whatever, is trapped under a beam, and he saves him. And he gets some kind of award.
It's like two gold coins or something.
Yeah. And they say he has bad character. Something.
What?
Yeah, they gave him the award, but then they said something about his bad character, and that's why he was there. Okay. In the Prussian army.
Okay.
It was during their little speech giving him his award, and I was like, what in the world? Like, you're gonna give him an award and then insult him?
Yes. Exactly.
So it says he's gonna be released from the Prussian army into the police. Like, he's gonna be put into the police force. But first he has a task.
He's gotta go undercover.
He's gotta be a spy.
To find out about this other spy.
Yeah.
I
was like, what the fuck was this guy wearing?
How do you even say his name? Chevalier?
I don't know, I didn't write it down. I just called him Weird Guy.
Okay, I'm just gonna call him Chev. That's easy for me to say.
Chev, okay.
Yeah, that's easy.
That works. Barry he's supposed to pretend that he doesn't speak English to this guy. But Barry is happy to be with this guy because he's also from Ireland.
Mm-hmm. So he literally just blabs like his entire plan that he's supposed to do.
Yeah. And so English. They come up with their own plan. And the weird guy tells Barry to report everything exactly as he does it. Like, the non-important stuff. Like, he took a bath at this time. He went poop at this time. Like, all the non-important stuff. He went on a walk at this time, back to the Prussian minister. And the Prussian minister and the general of the Prussian army are just like, seriously, this is not information that we need. And then Barry helps the weird guy cheat at cards.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, he's cheating, says, I know you're cheating, but I don't know how. And he says, I'll fight you now for the money, or you can wait and you'll get something better than what I owe you. And so he waits. And the weird guy tells Barry to go back to the Prussian minister because he's gonna leave, go to like a different country or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And so he says that his schedule is gonna be exactly what it is, and he tells that to the Prussian people. And so the next day, there's two people from the Prussian army there to pick up the weird guy, but it's not him.
It's not. They did like a little switcheroo.
Yeah, it's Barry in disguise. So he's escorted to the weird guy, or not? Yeah, pretty much escorted to the weird guy by the Prussians, which I don't understand why they needed to escort him wherever it was he was going. I think they were trying to get some kind of information or something, but I don't really understand.
I was like half paying attention at this point.
But the weird guy went the night before.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of weird people.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all playing cards.
It's the face. Like, there's a bunch of powder and rouge on. It's just like, why?
Yeah. Got all kinds of weird makeup on. So Barry and the weird guy are still cheating at cards. Barry has to fight sword fight with one of the guys that owes
To get
the
those
money.
winnings.
Yeah. And then he meets...
He sees... I just wrote down Lady Lyndon.
Yeah. Meets Lady Lyndon. She's a countess. So that makes her even more intriguing. And her husband is dying, so that makes her even more intriguing.
And they meet, not even hours later, they're all happy.
In love.
Lovey-dovey, happy. Thing.
Love in 6 hours, it says.
Really?
It said 6 hours later she was in love.
Yeah. She has a kid, too.
Yeah, she does. His name is Lord Bullingdon.
Yes.
Bullingdon. Her husband is upset with the situation. And he's yelling at Barry when he comes to talk to him. Because he knows that they're seeing each other. And he's upset about it.
Well, yeah, your wife's kind of cheating on you. I'd be kind of upset, too.
Well, and then he dies.
Well, yeah. He gets so upset that he pretty much just, dies.
Yeah.
He just dies.
And then that's the end of part 1.
That's part 1. Then we go to part 2.
See, and he doesn't even have the Lyndon name yet. He just meets the lady that's gonna give him the Lyndon name.
Yeah.
And then the very beginning of... So, part 2 is his misfortune and disasters that strike him.
Yeah. It says June 15th, 1773.
Yep.
It says Barry marries Lady Lyndon.
Yep. And they're riding in a carriage somewhere, and she asks him not to smoke. He just turns and blows the smoke in her face.
He's a total douchebag.
That's rude.
I freaking hated this dude, but
I did too.
That's me.
So then they're gonna have a baby.
Yep.
And there's some kind of party that he's having, and he's got 2 women sitting on him.
Yeah, they pretty much, he just fools around wherever the hell he wants.
It says that...
And she's stuck with the kids.
Yeah, it says that he fools around a lot, and she's upset.
Yeah.
But Barry comes in and says he's sorry.
And I'm like, you're full of shit.
But we don't ever see him with more women after that. He probably is, but they've gotten that point across, so we're good. We don't have to see him.
He was literally, kissing another woman right in front of his wife.
Yeah. So the baby his name is Brian.
Yep.
And this is his, 7th birthday or something?
I wrote down 8th.
8th birthday, okay. I was close.
One of those numbers.
Yeah. Lord Bullingdon is rude to Barry, so he whips him. And that's a little bit before the birthday party. I don't know if it's a couple days or, right before the birthday party, but it shows that Lord Bullingdon and, Barry don't get along. And Lord Bullingdon is her child from her first marriage.
Yeah.
So there's a magic show and, a little carriage, and it's just a birthday party.
Yeah. Little kid birthday party.
Yeah. And then there's a bedtime story. And I think it sounded like one of his stories from the war.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me, too.
And then Lady Barry, which is his mom, is there. And she's, helping him with the finances and the kids and all kinds of stuff. Mm. And says that he must attain a lordship from Lady Lyndon, because if she dies, everything would go to Lord Bullingdon.
Which is technically correct.
Yeah. But if he gets a lordship, then everything would go to him.
Yes.
And so he does get a lordship from her. And he has all kinds of stuff to do, all the bills and everything he's got to deal with now, and they're doing all kinds of paperwork and stuff.
I don't remember him getting a lordship.
Well, that's what I was interpreting, is because if he hadn't gotten the lordship, then he could keep going about doing whatever it is he wanted to do. But because he did obtain the lordship, then he doesn't have to do all that.
What I got from it is he's trying to get it by bribing all these people, presents, all of this stuff, and he's pretty much spending all her money because he doesn't have shit. That's what I got from it.
Either way.
Whatever.
I don't know which
Whatever,
way.
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is. So then you see the boys are doing schoolwork, and Lord Bullington is like a teenager now. Like, probably like 18 or so.
Something like that.
And they start fighting over a pencil.
A pencil. Like you're fighting your little brother over a pencil.
Yeah.
Really?
Bullington spanks Barry. Or not Barry, Brian. And
Brian.
Barry walks in, and he's not happy with the situation. He's like, you should never smack that child. That is not your kid. Don't do it. But then that's kind of like a oxymoron.
I was like, you're a freaking hypocrite. And
Yeah,
you just
hypocrite.
did the
No,
same
oxymoron,
thing.
That's what I meant to say.
I'm like, and then you hit him.
Yeah. But technically at this point he is his father. Whereas Bullington is Brian's brother.
Yeah.
So. So then there's like some weird concert.
Yeah, I was like, it was so funny. So it's the lady, she's playing the harpsichord. Mm-hmm. And like the reverend that's there, who's also the tutor for the boys.
Yeah.
He's playing, it's a Baroque flute.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I was looking at his hand position. I'm like, your hand position is awful. Your fingers are way too flat. No, it's not how you play the flute. But I'm a flute player, so I had to comment. I did. I was like, nope. That's not how you do it.
So Brian and Bullington come into the hall making all kinds of noise because Brian is wearing Bullington's shoes.
And of course, he's a little kid, so he can get away with it.
He's so happy about it.
I mean, little kids love doing that.
Yeah. And then Bullington goes up to Barry and is like accusing him of all this stuff.
Oh yeah, calls him out. He's like, it's like, just like, you ruined my mother, and it's like pretty much like you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But in like a more civilized way, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Barry attacks him.
Literally, like, starts choking him. Like, lady just like, she just like dips out. She's like, takes Brian, just like leaves the room.
Yeah. Then there's more bills and debts and stuff to be paid. All kinds of paperwork. Then we see Barry and Brian are fishing. And he is spending a lot of time with his son now.
Yeah, which is that's a good
not a bad
thing.
thing, it's a good
No.
thing. But he's spending a lot of time with his son, and his son is asking him for a horse.
For his birthday.
Yeah. Which I'm guessing is like his 9th birthday at this point.
Yeah.
So he does buy him a horse. And his son finds out about it. And so he's like asking him at dinner. He's like, I know you got me a horse. And so he's like, okay, you can't go to the farm before your birthday. And then his mom's like, don't ride that horse without your dad. And what does the kid do?
He goes and rides the horse.
Yep, and he gets bucked off. Which that shit hurts. Well, let me tell you. It is not a fun experience. And the kid dies from being thrown off of the horse.
I'm pretty sure he got his back broken. That's probably a big part of it. Because he says he can't feel anything.
Yeah, he does say that. So I think probably upper back is where it was broken. Because if he can't feel anything, then he's paralyzed from the shoulders down. Mm-hmm. Because if he could feel like his upper, then he's paralyzed from the waist down. So, yep, he dies. And so everyone is very upset.
Yeah, tiny white little coffin.
Yeah.
Sad funeral. And
Barry's passed out drunk after the funeral.
And so he turns to drinking, and the lady turns to devotion, faith.
Which it happens.
Two ends.
Yeah.
It works.
Some men come and carry him Barry to bed after he's passed out drunk one day. Barry's mom is dealing with all of the money problems because Lady Lyndon isn't dealing with it. Barry Lyndon isn't dealing with it. They're both at their opposite ends of grief.
They are grieving.
So Barry's mom is dealing with it. And she asks the priest/tutor to resign because they don't have enough money to pay him. He's like, I'll do it for free. Like, I'm not leaving these kids, or this kid. Or, not her. the kids are gone at this point because Bullingdon has been banished, so to speak.
He left, yeah.
And Brian has passed.
So he's like, there's no need for a tutor.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm not leaving her. He doesn't want to leave Lady Lyndon. And Lady Lyndon tries to kill herself.
Yeah. It was like poisoning herself or something.
Yeah. But she just ended up making herself sick because she didn't give herself enough.
No.
And Bullingdon returns to speak with Barry because now that Brian's gone, there's not really much point in him being there with Lady Lyndon, especially if they don't love each other. Which she, I think, loves him still, but he has been done with her for a while.
He's like, he just needed the money and the title. That's it.
So, Bullingdon and Barry duel.
Yes. So this freaking long, drawn-ass... Oh, okay. This duel just irritates me because it's so drawn out. Okay? They're really like in like this stable. And like, it irritated the shit out of me. I'm like, come on!
Yeah. I thought it was really funny because Bullingdon doesn't even know how to use a gun.
No,
he's like getting it ready to shoot and it goes off.
Shoots into the ground. I'm like, what a dumbass. I literally wrote, what a dumbass.
God, keep going. That's funny. And then it's Barry's turn because they take turns in this duel. Not every duel they take turns, but this duel they're taking turns. And so it's Barry's turn, and he doesn't shoot at... Wait, no. It's Barry's turn, and Bullingdon gets sick before Barry gets to even, like, cock his gun and get ready to fire. He, like, throws up. And then he goes back and stands over there. And then Barry fires at the ground. And Bullingdon is surprised. Like, he's like, he could have killed me. He knows how to use a gun. Why didn't he kill me? That's what his face says.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Then Bullingdon goes again. And he has very bad aim. And shoots Barry in the leg.
The leg.
So Barry gets taken to, my guess is this little inn.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
And the surgeon comes.
He looks at Barry's leg and he's looking at it, he's like, I'm almost done. And then he tells him that the bullet shattered pretty much the bone underneath and a bunch of like the arteries and everything, so he has to have it amputated.
Yep. And
he's like, or he'll die, pretty much.
So he gets it amputated. His mom comes and stays with him. And they're living in the little inn thing, I guess. And then a man visits Bullingdon and offers him $500 a year or he'll be arrested. So
he offers Barry that.
Yeah, because Bullingdon is offering that.
There you go.
That's what because it says Bullingdon, this is what I wrote down, Bullingdon offers, and I said offered. He's offered. So, yeah. Bullingdon offers it to Barry.
There we go. We're good.
And it's $500 a year or he'll be arrested if he comes back to Lady Lyndon.
He's like, stay away from my mother. Yep. Pretty much.
And so he stays away. And then the last thing you see is Lady Lyndon is signing a paper for Barry's payment.
Yeah, she's like, she sees it, gets a little sad, signs it, then moves on.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's it.
3 hours later.
Yeah. So music. It was all very, not
I was like, if
but...
you're trying to go with the time period, Schubert is classical, not Baroque.
Yeah.
He's like late classical.
Yeah.
Because there's Schubert, Vivaldi, we got Bach in there. What else, Kat?
Mozart. Never heard of. Riata. Oh, Riata. My guess is that's because those are all Irish themes, so my guess is those are Irish music. A lot of it's just traditional stuff from the time period or near the time period and in the general vicinity of.
I was like, and there's some Handel.
Yeah. That's about it.
I'm like, well, some of it was like maybe of like near the end of the movie that might be correct, but
yeah,
because this is bad. It was like mid 1700s to like the end of the 1700s.
Yeah, because the only actual date we get is 1773.
Yeah.
And my guess is that's about 10 years before the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I would think that. Okay, so like mid to like near end. Okay.
Yeah, mid to late
Yeah.
1700s.
So
But yeah,
most of those would fit.
I don't have a
I don't know
problem
about
with
the-
any of the music.
I was like, I don't know about that. Maybe if it's late Handel and late Bach.
I think that one is late.
Okay.
Because I've heard that one before. I think it is late.
Mm.
The Sarabande.
Of course, we only know this because, you know, music history.
Yeah. And that's all there is on the music.
Yeah, I think it fit pretty well
Yeah.
for the most part.
I mean, it wasn't like intruding in anything.
No.
It wasn't the same song over and over and over and over. So there is a book. I didn't know that till yesterday before recording.
I did, but it's been kind of a hectic time for me, so I didn't get a chance to read it.
Yeah. So we did not read it, so no real comparison there. Sorry.
I was like, sorry.
So trivia.
Okay, so I got some. So our actress she's second billed in the movie. Her name is Marissa Berenson. She only had 13 lines.
Yeah,
That's it.
Lady Lyndon. She didn't really say much. Is it?
Very few lines, and I don't know if it was just that it seemed like a very weak character,
Yeah.
but that's me.
I feel like they may have portrayed her that way on purpose. I don't know.
I don't like weak characters like that, but that's me. So the filming took 300 days over 2 years.
Good lord.
Yeah. It said it began in June of 1973 and did not get released until the end of 75.
Dang.
Because it took Kubrick a long time to edit it also. Which moves me on to my next point with that stupid duel at the end. It took 42 days to edit it. Wow. I'm like, Kubrick, really? Come on. Yeah, that was... I had to write that down. Like, really? That long?
That's kind of funny.
Talking about our other Lady Lyndon thing, she was instructed to stay out of the sun to give her that nice look. She had that pale look.
She was very pale.
And this was the only Best Picture nominee that year to be nominated for Best Score, Adapted Score, Best Costume Design, and Best Art Direction that same year. That's about it.
It's not bad. It's quite a bit of... There's some movies we haven't in any trivia, so...
Yeah, there's actually more than this, but it's hard to get, like, interesting bits. So, that's what I got.
Alright, so where it has been on the list before, it's been kind of in the same place for the past few years. In 2010, it was number 222. The highest it's been was 2012 at number 209. The lowest it's been is in 2014. It was number 238. 2016, it was number 229. And as of today, when we are recording, it is number 219. And then previously at number 225 was 2010 list, Rosemary's Baby from 1968. The 2012 list, Star Trek from 2009. The 2014 list, Lestrada from 1954. The 2016 list, Donnie Darko from 2001, which is our next film.
Yep.
And then, as of today when we're recording, The Terminator is number 225.
Oh, so that moved
Up a little bit, yeah.
Nice.
Move up 4. Alright, favorite line. Let's see, I got a few written down here.
I got 2. I found my other one.
Okay.
So this is just the narrator talking over. It says, a lady who sets her heart upon a lad in uniform must prepare to change lovers pretty quickly, or her life will be but a sad one.
Yeah.
And then my other one is when Brian's dying, he asked
if I die, will I go to heaven? I'm like, ouch. That's pretty brutal and
Yeah.
sad.
Mine was Captain Brody. When he's dying, he says, "I've only got 100 guineas left to give you, for I lost the rest in cards last night."
That was a good one.
The weird guy cheated. That weird guy in Barry cheated. Though I cannot say how, I believe you have cheated me. The narrator. To make a long story short, when he wait, no. I feel like that if we picked that, I think I have one more. Hold on. He seems to me nothing more than a common opportunist.
That's another good line.
Yeah, but I feel like it's very. If we pick to make a long story short as our favorite line, it's very ironic.
I like it actually.
Want to go with that to make a long story short?
Yes. Just because this is 3 hours long.
Alright. That is our favorite line for this movie. So, our rating. I give it a 3.
Wow. I guess I'm being nice.
Because there was a few funny bits and a few bits that were slightly interesting, but not really much interested me. Like, I was bored throughout most of it.
Okay, I'll be nice. I gave it a 5 because I can handle period pieces for the most part. Time, the length of the film, again, could have been a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Some parts kind of dragged on, especially the end part. And also, I don't know what it is, because with Paper Moon, I didn't really like it either.
Yeah.
And it has the same lead actor.
Yeah.
It has Ryan O'Neal, stars in both of them. And I talked to Kat about this. I'm like, do I have like a mental block against him or something? I don't know.
It's possible.
I might.
See, I liked Paper Moon, but I didn't really like this one. And I don't think it had anything to do with him. I think he did a great job acting. Just more of a... didn't really like the story, and it drug on forever. And there was bits where I'm just like, why is this even in the story? Like, why is this even part of this?
I think it's part of mine. It's just him.
That's alright. I mean, I'm not saying he's my favorite actor, but I don't really have a problem with him, so...
I don't know what it is.
Alright. So our next film is Donnie Darko from 2001, and we are actually going to have a guest for that one.
Yes. My buddy Marcos is going to be joining us on Donnie Darko.
Yes. As far as I know, that's one of his favorites.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. Our second normal episode guest.
Yes.
Alright, so we do have premium. So if you pay for premium, you will get uncut episodes, which you hear me just go on and on about stuff when I should be talking about a movie. Also, early release episodes. A lot of times I try to get them out on Mondays, but sometimes I get busy and they come out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But they will be early. And then a special monthly episode every month. September was one of Miley's favorite movies, Frozen. October, which will be out very soon, if it's not out by the time this one's out, is one actor or director that we each liked from the list from previous movies that we've already watched. I picked Viola Davis.
And I picked Robin Williams.
So that's our October special episode. And then our November one is we are ranking the first 25 films that we've already watched in order of how we liked them. So Jess will have a list and I'll have a list. And we'll probably just
read it,
give a little description of like why we liked that one better than the previous one. And then so you can get all of that for $1 a month, and if you pay $5 a month you'll get all of that plus pick a movie of your choice every 50 movies, so that's a total of up to 5 movies that you could join us in talking about. And we are still running a contest. One out of every person that leaves a positive written review will be randomly selected to join for a movie of their choice. So, I check that about once a week. So far, we still only have the one review, which is fine. But reviews do help us, so...
So please do them.
Yes, please. And where to find us?
So you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Cat and Jess Talk the Best. Our email is catandjesstalkthebest250@gmail. Our website is catandjesstalkthebest.podbean.com.
And the podcast is pretty much everywhere at this point, so just share it with your friends. They can find it iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Share the link wherever you listen. Share it on Facebook or Twitter so we can get some more people listening. And our opening music, any music that we have, is by Audio Binger. And you can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Cool.
She has a porg.
I do have a porg. He's so cute.